This is Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leafs Weekender episode 3. Guys, what the hell is going on in Leafs land?
Great question, Dilly. I have no idea. Everyone's losing their mind. We got a big game on tonight. If there's another L, look the hell out. The boys need this win tonight. I don't know. Dave, what are your thoughts here?
Like, no words, man. I don't know what to say, man. I try to be positive a little bit last week. Like, what did I say? When you, Dylan, when you asked me how many out of the 3 games going on, how many, I said, what? They're going to take 2 out of the 1 games, right? And they've lost 2. The second night of a back-to-back. You got Anaheim, who's, 7 games in a row they've lost?
They have one win right now.
Oh, yeah. They have one
win. But they have lost 7 straight. You're right.
Yeah.
This is just going like horribly, man. It's not looking good at all.
No. Before we actually start ranting about this team, as always, this podcast is brought to you by Boxing Rock Brewing Co.'s Puck Off Lagerdale, the big beer for the big game. Now, the week so far is 0-2-1 with the Ducks game tonight. We did have our predictions earlier this week, and we couldn't be ever more wrong.
So wrong.
It's rough, but well, I guess we'll find out tonight if Leafs land is really down bad.
I have this team going 2-2 this week. My prediction was we were gonna beat the teams we were supposed to lose to, and then lose to the temes that we were supposed to beat. And unfortunately, I'm only half correct on that. If we lose tonight,
I don't know what's
I don't know. Everyone's gonna lose their mind. We'll see. Everyone's calling for Keefe's head. It's clearly not his fault. It's on the players. I don't know what we're supposed to do. Do you make a big trade? Do you fire Keefe to send a message to the players? What do you guys think? Like, what do we do here?
Firing Keefe is going to solve nothing, honestly.
Nothing.
Just you're going to get rid of another coach. Like, it's like, what are you going to say this time? Like, not Shanahan. Dubas has come out and said, "Whoa, we have faith that the squad can get it done." Well, hey, man, players got to start. Like, you got to start. Oh man, I don't even know what to say. It's frustrating. Like, we have to start getting it from the players, man. It's all on the players at this point. Coaching, it's not on the coaches. It's not on the GMs. It's the players, man. And we just need to see it from them.
Yeah. Now
saying the defense, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's just the defense. But like, we have had some injuries on the back end, which like, they shouldn't explain everything, but it is what it is. We got some guys coming back, so that's a good thing. We talked about the Vegas game earlier this week. We went on just before the San Jose game, and that was an interesting start, to say the least. Couture, fast break within the first 2 minutes, and Matthews' Xbox controller seemed to disconnect. Just was like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? And Couture broke down Hall and goes in and scores.
Oh my God. Justin Hall of Famer. Like,
everybody's pointing to him, and it sucks, but he's just the new whipping boy.
I think, Matthews stopped skating on that. He's like, okay, Justin Hall is an NHL player that should make that play. I'm going to wait for him to make that play, turn it around, get the pass that he'll probably won't make to me. But that's like, I don't know why Matthews would have stopped skating there. We know he's a great two-way player. It's just, it didn't work out. Justin Hall lost the battle there, and unfortunately, Couture took advantage.
Yeah. Divi, did you watch the game?
I did not get to watch the game, but I did see the goal. And oh boy, you know what, man? Just Trying to be positive. What can I say positive about Justin Hall? I
Yeah.
can't say nothing. Guy will have one good game out and have like 4 bad ones. And we're not just talking bad. We're talking like absolutely brutal, man. When
Yeah.
Liljegren's good to go, when Ben's good to go, please just put them in. I cannot see this guy touch the ice anymore. I'm very sorry. Not trying to be like a total like downer, but I've seen what I need to see. Justin Hall is not that guy. He can be the 7th D-man. He can be the guy that plays when there's injuries. This guy cannot be on the ice. It's a liability at this point. I just can't with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Very sorry.
That's fair. No,
Agreed.
now although Matthews had his controller disconnect, he did get on the board again with his second goal of the year on the power play from, I think it was the point. It was just, you know,
it was
typical snipe
filthy.
right from the
I love
point.
it.
Not his usual spot, but you know, put some confidence in the young guy. Again, he's not, obviously he's still putting up points, but he needs to put those goals in the back of the net if he's going to chase 70.
Yeah, do you guys think he's going to get 70? I mean, at the start of the season, I kind of was going to be like, if I can bet on the under of him getting 60, I don't know. Like, I think I would have thrown a little bit of money down because last season was a great season. It might have been his peak, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we know he's an excellent goal scorer. I don't think he'll hit 70. If he did, like, I don't. When's the last time a 70 was hit? I think it was like early 90s or something. So
It's been quite a while.
It's
so-
been a while, and
been
even though
quite a while.
scoring is up right now, but right now the Leafs do not look great, so it's hard to score when you're on a bad team right now.
Yeah. No, it would be a lot of multi-goal scoring games for sure.
He's used to it. He's used to it.
He is used to it. He loves to put that puck in the back of the net. Now, although Couture was pretty hot in this game, one guy that has been hot in the NHL as of late, and he was one of the 3 stars of the week, Erik Karlsson is looking like vintage Karlsson. He came in on a breakaway in overtime to win it 4-3 to send the Leafs packing.
It's also,
what are your thoughts on that one?
Keep in mind, Eric Shalgren's in that, and I'm not the biggest Shalgren fan. Like he is a certified AHL goalie. I mean, I know Karlsson on a breakaway. Like don't get me wrong, great play by Karlsson. Stays with Nylander the entire time. I don't know if that's Nylander's effort or Karlsson's effort. Either way, Karlsson looked great on that. Strips it off him, gets a breakaway, and just embarrasses Shalgren and Nylander on the same play. So good for him. He looks good. I mean, maybe not as good as he did in Ottawa years ago, but yeah, no, great play by the kid. Or not even a kid anymore.
He ain't
like
a kid.
He's in his 30s
He could be a
now.
Grown man.
I don't
He's
know.
a grown man, Pete. What are you saying?
He calls
Still a kid
everybody
to me.
Divvy.
Man. Yeah, Earl Carlson, man.
Yeah.
Some shades
Does anybody
back
here
from
have him
Ottawa.
in fantasy?
No,
Ooh.
I've seen him on the block a few times, and
Ooh.
I said I ain't picking him up. This guy's
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Ever since this guy went to San Jose, I had a lot of high hopes for him, and oh my god, he just
may
straight
have
up like disappointed me every year when I had some high hopes for this guy, man.
He may have the worst contract in the NHL right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, like
How much is he getting paid?
11.5, I think. Oh, maybe I'm
Absolutely
wrong.
rinsed San Jose.
I think
my
it is 11.5.
God. This guy must have been laughing. Did San Jose give him that contract?
Yeah.
Oh,
After he was done with his whatever deal Ottawa gave him.
what were they thinking? Oh my god, 11.5.
Do you guys think that him taking off shaving his head, that it's helping him on the ice?
Wait, who shaved their head?
Carlson, do you think
Did he actually?
him getting rid of the hair at the back of his helmet?
Getting rid of the
Sorry.
flow. I don't
Get
know.
rid of the flow.
He's more
man.
aerodynamic out there now.
He could be.
It didn't work
Yeah.
for Justin Hall though.
Yeah, buddy, that's 11.5. 11.5.
That's gross. That
That
may
is-
be the worst contract in the NHL.
That's
That is
top 10 in the
real
league
big,
right now,
man.
I think.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Easily. Oh my god. We'll move to last night's game. I can't. Let's talk about the positives here first. Those jerseys, great looking jerseys on the ice last night. We had the Chrome Domers for LA, and we had the Bieber reversal with the Toronto
I
skyline
love those
there.
Beavers.
What are your thoughts there, Divvy, on the jersey choices?
I really like LA's jersey. I really like their buckets as well. They're like one of my most favorite in the league. But the
Awesome.
Leafs, you know me. I like the blue and black side. Not the biggest fan of the other, but
Yeah.
it's a good change.
It definitely catches your eye out there on the ice because you used to seeing the blue and white, and then bam. Like I had
Yeah.
somebody one of my buddies Snapchatted me. They're like, why is the Leafs black and the other team's white when the other team's at home? I was like, I don't know. It's just
Sometimes they
it's a
do
twist.
that.
Yeah, it's
It's got to change, man.
was
Because
that
they only wear those helmets when they're the home team, right? So it doesn't really go well if
Oh.
they're wearing the darker jerseys, I'm assuming.
I don't
I
even
mean-
know. I don't know. They must, but I thought those were their reverse jerseys, but they're not, are they?
It might, I think.
No, I don't think so. I think it was their
Just the
their alternates that they
their
had.
alternate.
Like it was their third jersey, kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this was the Leafs' third jersey. I think this
But-
was theirs.
But I know it is a throwback.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's a
jersey.
throwback style.
Okay.
I have I
Yeah.
have that throwback hat actually in the Kings. Oh, I love
Those
it.
are-
It's an
that's sick.
absolute beauty.
It's a dope logo. I like it.
That's
I'm looking at the
awesome.
jerseys right now. Yeah, they're absolute fire. And man, the Bieber jerseys, those are I think are my favorite Leaf jerseys. And I still don't own a jersey
I
yet.
don't know.
so
Damn,
I'm
Pete, you
waiting to
gotta
get that
on
one.
man.
But I'm looking at the Kings jerseys. They don't have ads on their jersey.
They don't.
No, I'm looking at it now. There's no ad on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
some
I
teams don't have ads.
Some teams don't have ads. So like,
Yeah, I found that weird.
that is very strange. Like, do they pick the most marketable teams to wear the ads? Like, Leafs have the milk on their.
I think it's a
their
choice.
jersey.
No,
It's
it?
got to be a choice. Yeah. I
That's-
thought it was a choice at least. This
I
whole
thought
time,
it
so
was,
I'm not
but
too sure.
I feel like Bettman will be like, oh, you got to implement this or whatever. But I think it's just a bigger money grab, no, for like the team itself. Just like, we'll give you this to advertise our company or whatever.
Is it go to the team or does it go to the league? I thought it went to the league,
It
and
could
that's
go
why
to the
the
league,
cap
maybe.
might be going up. But I don't know
With
anything.
what,
about
RBC?
how
RBC's with Montreal.
right?
We got milk. I think Edmonton doesn't also.
I think you're
Doesn't-
right. I thought it was
So maybe
just
it is a
Edmonton.
choice.
Hey man, do you guys see Edmonton Stadium prices? I don't think they're too worried about a sponsor on their jerseys. $40 for two
We
popcorns
don't
and
need
two
advertisements. They
drinks.
just
all
sell
right?
food.
These
Sounds
guys are
like you're going
absolutely
to the movies.
ruthless, man.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Especially with the inflation.
Another positive out of last night's game, JT is staying hot. He got his 10th point last night, 10th leading point. And it was on a very interesting power play goal. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was Mitchie was on the left side, kind of like missed the net, went off the backboards, and John Tavares just like he angled his stick in the way that he just knew Peterson was going to play the net, and he just lifted it right up and over. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous play. You don't see Tavares, putting in front net good goals often, but yeah, it was a solid goal. I like that little play, and
I'm completely
it
drawing a
definitely-
blank on the goal right now, but was it a power play goal again?
yeah. So it was
Yeah.
like
Power play.
Riley, Marner, Matthews, I think, and then Willie was slot, and JT was like sitting right next to the post there. So
Gotcha.
yeah. Negatives last night, the penalties, man, 6 penalties last night. I can't handle it. I don't know how many Matthews actually has, 2 in his career, but he had 2.
That's his first
Mine.
time. First
That is
time.
his first time?
Yep, getting 2 penalties in a game. So
That's
I didn't see them. What were they? What were these penalties? Were
I
they
didn't see what they were. I just saw that he got 2, and I was just like, bro,
Yeah, I thought,
frustrated right now.
I thought that was a little bit weird because, like, again, I didn't watch the game, but I was getting the Twitter notifications, and I would get Twitter penalty Leafs. I'm like, oh, okay. I saw Matthews. I was like, all right, must be a one-off. And then what? You said he got 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw the second, and he's like, when was the last time this guy drawed a penalty before today? Was it any time like this season, or like I'm trying to remember? I think the last one was in like the playoffs last year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he doesn't take very many. He's very good with his stick and
Mhm.
whatnot. But
Usually-
our other, what's that?
Usually draws the penalties, doesn't
Yeah.
take them.
Yeah.
Yes, our whipping boy of Leafs land, Hall also took 2, and I know a power play goal was scored on one of his penalties. Boys, how do we even talk about Hall here?
Justin Hall of Famer. That's what he is. He's obviously the whipping boy in Toronto right now. He's just serving hot, fresh pizzas right to the other team. He's taking stupid penalties. He's the whipping boy, but rightly so. He eats a lot of minutes. He does a pretty good job on the PK. And like hell, 2 years ago in the bubble, man, he was shutting down McDavid, and it looked so bright for this guy. Like, remember that stretch where we shut out the Oilers 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
Justin Hall was implemented for that. Like he was shutting them down. They couldn't score on us because our defense was so good. But man, I don't know what's happened. Maybe it's because he's lost Muzzin. He just looks so bad out there.
Did Muzzin make him look too good? Like, and I think I remember Clarkey said that last week, but like, just like I said before, I cannot see this. I don't want to see this guy on the ice when Liljegren and like Ben come back. Like, there's no excuse for this guy to be getting like even a second of ice time, because it's a liability.
He is like he's taking penalties when he should be the guy killing the penalties. He's putting muffins up center ice constantly, and he's just like he's a physical guy, but like you either need somebody with discipline as a coach to be like, Haller, like you need to smarten up, or like you're gonna get sat, and like I guess that's all a coach can say. But Dubas might be getting frustrated with him, and I know he's his boy, but I'm thinking this man might be out of Toronto pretty soon.
Yeah, I think Mike Babcock might have seen something when he was healthy scratching him all those years ago. Like, he called it, but like, he was so good when he came back in the lineup. I think his first game too, he scored, and I was like, oh, this guy might be great. See, this is why Babcock's not our coach anymore. But maybe he did see something in this.
No,
Babcock knew, man. Babcock low-key knew. He definitely did.
Did anybody see I think it's Hockey Illuminati talk about Leafs coaches that should be?
That was hilarious.
That was amazing.
He said Mike Babcock, and
Mike Babcock. Then he's like, "No, just kidding, guys." And I was like, "Oh, thank God, Frank, you scared me there for a second."
Yeah. But biggest note of this game was the lack of defense. There was a couple goals I saw. Sandin turned it over for the fourth goal. He just
Nope. We lose Dylan.
I think
Dylan
so.
cut out.
Oh no, Dylan.
Dilly. All right. Well, the Sandin on the fourth goal was an absolute brutal giveaway. I'm just watching it now.
Sorry.
Oh, Dylan hit back.
You back here, Dylan?
Yes, sorry. My internet is crappy apparently. Fiala stripped it from Sandin is what I was trying to say, and Sandin was just unaware of his surroundings here. And like I don't know what our defensive coaches are doing or teaching or what, but then there was the Engvall goal.
Oh.
Like Riley was stepping up on the play as a defenseman on the penalty kill, and then Kampf and Kral are just out to dry as Philip Deneau comes in and passes it over to Arvidsson, and he snipes it in. Like, it's just, I don't know what we can do better.
The giveaways, man. The giveaways are so bad. I just watched the Sandin goal, and like you said, yeah, he's not aware of his surroundings, but like, come on, man. You just got paid. Show that you want to be here. You got to play better than that if you're going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. If you want a better contract in the next 2 seasons, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
these guys aren't earning their money.
No.
And just like you were saying, Sandin, like another guy, Engvall, obviously, just like these guys all got like, who was else? Engvall, even like Zach Ashton Reese, like a lot of these guys, like they got deals. Malgin even like didn't he also get a contract for this year? Or
yeah, but I think it was only like
very 750 league minimum.
These guys are all getting contracts. They all did great in training camp. Apparently, we're hearing all these great things about these guys. Like Engvall was apparently training camp MVP from what I heard, and like also these guys are having great. Like there was a lot of promise. So we just. who
That's why-
knows? When are we going to
Guess
see
that's
it?
why
Like,
preseason they call it preseason. They don't
yeah,
get it
exactly. Like I wanted to mention it, but like it's preseason is preseason. You know,
played.
it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it. There's only so much that obviously coaches can do, and like I think like Andy said here, like it's the lack of effort, but I think it's also the lack of execution here for the Leafs. Like I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like our passes aren't complete. Like we'll pass it, but they're getting picked off way too often,
yeah.
and I don't think that's something that we're.
Dylan cut off again.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, like Dylan's saying, the giveaways are terrible right now. They're every time they break out of the zone, it's just a giveaway.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to improve, but the one thing I will say though is the goaltending. The goaltending has been great so far.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I love Sammy. Eric Shalgren though is in tonight, and I'm not excited to see him.
Shalgren is in tonight. Eh?
Yes, yeah, on the
There you go.
back-to-back against Anaheim. I think
Well,
I
hey,
don't know.
Will he have a bounce back game after what happened with San Jose? Honestly, you know what?
Can't really blame him for that game, but it's just I feel like the team doesn't play as well when they have a lesser competitive goalie in net. I don't know if they don't have any confidence in him. I mean, I don't. I think he's just a certified AHL goalie. But to get back to my point, the goaltending is what we were worried about in the offseason here, and it's just been completely flipped here. The script is flipped. We can't execute as a team, and there's this. Matthews isn't scoring. Their defense stinks, but at least we're getting good goaltending.
Yeah, who would have thought the goaltending would have been the one shining point?
Yeah,
Honestly, like I'm just happy because in my I felt good because I felt like I had faith in a goaltending before, and seeing how the guys are doing good in my heart, I'm just like, yes, I knew it. You know, I had faith in the boys.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
What Andy even says here is 100% true. Like if we only gave 50 to 75% at our jobs, we would get fired. Like why is pro sports different? You know what I mean? Like
I know.
I know that obviously, you know, one team plays better and the other team plays shitty in a game, but there's no effort with these guys right now, and somebody needs to either scream at them or, you know, shake things up, and I don't know what that shakeup will be. A lot of people in Leafs land are saying it's going to be Keefe, but
what are we supposed to do though? Like, do we make a major trade? Like,
I think a trade is a better way to go, honestly, because sacking another coach isn't the answer here. That's solving nothing.
Yeah, but like a trade, when a panic trade doesn't seem right to me. I don't know if that has ever worked in the history of trades before. I know Vancouver just did that with Ethan Bear. We'll see how that works out. But
and they traded what I thought was one of their future goalies in DiPietro for Jack Stanika.
Right. I don't know about those panic trades. I honestly kind of want to just see him ride it out. I don't know if firing Keefe and then hiring Barry Trotz would be a good idea, but I know everyone wants that to happen. I just don't think his defensive mindset would fit well with this offensive powered team. So yeah. I it's going to be interesting to watch in this next week or two, depending on how well they do. I'm sure if they have something set up, it's already going to be, they already have it ready to execute.
Yep.
So we'll just wait and see.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have one more game tonight, and she has turned up finally. I will add her to the stream. But ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Turned up fine. No, I'm not taking the fall for this. Absolutely not. And this is
we do have a very special guest.
I will take the fall for a lot of things. I'm not taking the fall for this.
She is one of the queens of hockey talk. She loves the Dodgers and loves the Ducks even more. Please welcome all the way from San Diego, Sweet Annie OD.
Thank you so much for having me. Honored to be here. Apologies for the time mix up there, but we worked it out.
There's a story here we need to hear.
I thought thought it was
James
weird at
said-
first because I know what time the game is, and I got a message from the show account that was like, "Hey, you want to come on around 5?" I was like, "Are we like watching the game?" Like, okay, like sure, I can tune in for a little bit. Like sometimes the broadcast is delayed, sure, and then I get messages around like 4. I check my phone around 4:20, and I'm getting messages from Dylan being like, "Hey, like come in anytime." I'm like, "Oh,
It's
shoot."
3 hours, Dylan. 3 hours, not 2.
I know. It's okay.
Sorry,
no,
we
that
worked
was
it out.
total
It's fine. There's
miscommunication.
20 minutes. The guys just took the ice for warm-ups from what I see. I do see somebody tweeted that every player that came on the road trip is taking the ice for warm-ups, not just the guys in the lineup. So that's something
That's
new.
interesting insider feedback. But this
I
game
wouldn't call myself an insider. That was just on Twitter.
I've seen you in the background. You're just on your phone, making sure you know all the notes.
Not really. Honestly, I was looking at, did you see the Ducks? It's Dia de los Muertos night at Honda Center, and the Ducks just designed this super cool warm-up jersey with like, they commissioned like local artists to like design, and they took the Mighty Ducks logo and made it just absolutely gorgeous. That's what I was looking at. Honestly.
Shout out to the Ducks. They have
Oh,
some of the best jerseys. I love the Ducks jerseys.
Yes,
Thank you.
They're great.
they're going the authentic
They get so
way.
much flack. They get so much flack around the league. Which, listen, I get it. The foot D is not the prettiest logo, but it's not the ugliest. All right,
No, it is.
Those reverse retros, though.
beautiful.
That's
Great.
true.
Well done. I like Toronto's too. I like
It's all
Toronto's
right.
a lot better this time. I like it better than the gray like paneling.
Oh,
that
yes,
they did.
Oh yeah, compared to the
I'm
last
still gonna
one.
buy it. Still a
Yeah.
jersey collector. Gotta buy it.
Yeah, we gotta buy
Exactly.
everyone.
Exactly. Although I hear they're way more expensive. I mean, maybe the currency thing, but like I remember last time some of the Canadian friends I know were saying that some of those jerseys were running up like $300 in some cases
Yep,
It's $300.
that's how much that one was
for a jersey. Jeez.
at the game, though.
Does it even have the fighter strap in it? Like
Yep.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you're getting the actual thing, that's one thing. But like,
Yeah.
if you're paying for what that Fanatics like plastic replica, you're like, I'm not paying $300 for that.
No, I
Well,
wouldn't.
it's 200 for those, so it's not as bad.
That's not better.
What is it there?
I'm trying to think. How much did I pay for my Ducks one? Maybe like one. Okay, maybe like 145, 150. So not much better than 200. But you know, hey, $50 is still $50. I can do a lot of damage with $50.
Exactly. Well, tonight's exciting game comes to, either Anaheim trying to break their 7-game winless streak or us trying to break our 3.
Someone's losing a streak tonight.
I have a feeling it's not the Ducks, but anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I'll start with you, Annie. What are your expectations for this game tonight?
I mean, honestly, the start of the season for the Ducks and I'm one of those people where, I acknowledge, hey, we're not even 3 weeks into the regular season right now. So you're looking at the standings right now. You're like, okay, like you can't make judgments already. But I'm also one of those people where I'm not one to write off like bad habits to, it's still October. It's fine. And like, I think you can say that, hey, bad games, slow starts for some players. But if it becomes a habit and you're on like a 7-game winless streak, that's a problem. Like, and it becomes a problem down when you're in March and April. And hey, you're upwards of one of those 2 wild card spots. And hey, you're looking back at October thinking, man, if 1 or 2 of those games had gone our way, those extra points could have helped us. But for the Ducks, watching them these last, 2.5 weeks now, with the exception, even on opening night when they got their big win, their sole win this season, they even looked lost at times and just really like training camp wasn't even a thing. Like they looked like they did not know how to play together, no communication. I mean, the blue line absolutely atrocious, and I'm not one to blame John Gibson by any means. That's his bobblehead right there, but certainly moments where shots he should have had, and the entire offense is being carried basically by Troy Terry and Trevor Zegras. I mean, I think 7 different guys have scored goals. Meanwhile, they threw that stat out during that Vegas game where they're like, yeah, only 7 Ducks have scored this entire season. Meanwhile, everybody on the Vegas roster has scored at least once. I'm like,
Damn.
that stings there. And of course, when you're going on one of these streaks, I know I heard you guys talking about it with the Toronto situation with Dubas. Honestly, Dallas Eakins Dallas Eakins' job is coming into question in a lot of discussion, and as it absolutely should. I mean, this is not a guy that's coming in like as a brand new head coach, and this is his first few games, first couple of weeks with this team. He's been with this club now 2 full seasons going into this season. Yeah, it's time. We're trying to see, hey, is this the guy that's supposed to be developing these players? But let's go. Regardless, let's go back to tonight. It could go either way. But I'm gonna assume, and this is just from what I've seen, because I have seen some improvement from Anaheim, despite the fact that they did lose 4-0 last game. There was improvement, and you did see, hey, 5-on-5, they played better. They weren't drastically outshot. So I'm gonna say the Ducks keep it close. The Ducks make it a close, competitive game. It'll be one of the best games we've seen so far this season, performance-wise. But I think the Leafs take the win in regulation.
Gotcha. Now, Pete, what do we expect from the Leafs?
The pessimistic mindset I have right now is like, I'm just watching I'm watching the highlights of like Trevor Zegras right now. I'm expecting like a Michigan goal from Zeke. Maybe Matthews tries to do one himself, but like we have Eric Shalgren in net, and they never play well in front of him. I'm expecting just I don't know, back-to-back game, a poor performance again. I don't know, like Div.
Yeah, I don't.
You're expecting the same thing tonight? No.
You know what?
Is Div going to be negative?
No. It was around this. Hold on, guys. Hear me out. It was around this time last season when the Leafs started off not so good. It was around this time where they turned it up.
Yeah, buddy.
Now they have had a horrendous last few games, if we could even call it that. This is the game where they're going to turn it around. I'm calling it right now, a 3-1 final. Matthews is going to get 2 goals.
Okay.
And you know what? John Tavares is going to get the third.
Yeah,
Johnny's going to stay hot.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen. 3-1 final. Matthews scores 2. Johnny T scores the third.
I love it.
Now, Annie, there seems to be a new trend here in Anaheim where, these young guys are coming up and they're just running the show now. Now, McTavish is somebody that's coming up on his 10-game mark. Do you think that the Ducks are going to keep him up there, or what do you think his future is for this season?
I think they keep him up. I mean, you sent him down last year. I think at this point, you got to think from a development standpoint. Is McTavish will it benefit him more doing another year in the OHL or being up with the big club? And listen, this team has 0. I know a lot of people put the Ducks in like their top 3 in the Pacific, which don't know why, but a lot of it. Hey, I appreciate the optimism, but come on,
a lot of potential though. A lot of potential.
There is potential, and that's probably been one of the most frustrating. Is like on paper there's potential, but on the ice you're like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But that was also what was promised like 4 years ago, during when they refused to actually tear the thing down and rebuild. They're like, no, we just need to fix a few pieces. On paper, this team is still good. But I just think with where the team is at and, on every standpoint, whether it's, roster wise, salary cap, everything, like they can afford to keep him on and get him some NHL. Right? I think that's the best way to get experience, to get to really develop players there's obviously certain exceptions, but when you have a guy like Mason McTavish that has proved he's an elite player, that he's ready to play at the highest level, keep him here. Like keep him here, get him from, especially a lot of people are throwing his name in in the discussion for somebody that's going to wear a letter in the not so distant future for the Ducks. Like let him get the reps with Zegras, let him get familiar with Drysdale, his, the teammates that are part of this core. And obviously you've got Zellweger down, playing another year of juniors. You got Pashtuev also playing juniors. There's a lot of young guys still developing, but I say McTavish has got to stay. I mean, you already sent him down last year. What's the message you're sending by sending him back down? And I know he's got, I think 4 assists on the year. He hasn't scored a goal yet, but I mean, you look at the situation with Shane Wright in Seattle and you're just like, how is he benefiting at all? Like at that point, you should have just kept him down in juniors another year. Like, why waste his time if you're only going to give him what is he averaging? Like 5 minutes of ice time?
6 minutes, yeah.
5-6 minutes. It's not good at all.
Like that's not even fair to him. It's not fair to the team. And I'm no development expert by any means, but at that point, I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. So I I'm in favor of keeping McTavish up here, and I think he will stay.
He was so good in the juniors. I loved watching him for Team Canada. He's great. You guys have a great future. And like speaking of future though, like what I saw that Zegras, he's on a contract year, right? What's like an ideal contract you would like to see?
It's interesting because you've got both Drysdale, Zegras are on the last year of their entry deals, and then Troy Terry is on the last year of his absolute steal of a deal. I mean, I still can't believe it was like 3 years. He's averaging, I think, $1.7 million. And to me, Troy Terry is the future captain of the Ducks.
I think so. Wow.
He's my pick for sure. He just exudes. He's got that Getzlaff energy to him. He definitely has that leadership presence, that command on the ice. He's the guy that goes up, and honestly, the way he's carried this team for the last what now 9 games. I can't do math, but he is definitely my pick. For a Zegras contract, it's interesting. So I would like to see. I think they'll do an extension during the year. Yeah. I'm interested to see what Pat Verbeek will do because there's obviously cap room to work with, but he's not shy about throwing money at players, but he'll do it in a smart way, kind of like the Klingberg deal. He wasn't going to throw long-term money at Klingberg, but he gave him the 1 year, $7 million. I was like, it's kind of like a show me deal. Like, works out great. If not, we'll ship you out at the trade deadline. You can go test free agency all over again.
Great contract, great signing. I love that signing for you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously not the signing he wanted. Obviously, I know, if you're a defenseman, what is he in his early 30s now? Probably going to want that long-term deal, but I'll take it. I don't want Connor McDavid numbers yet. No, just because he's so young.
North of Jack Hughes is my.
I agree. North of Jack Hughes, personally, I would love for him to have like that Nathan McKinnon mindset for his first long-term deal and be like, yo, I want to have the team around me be good. The Sidney Crosby mindset where that guy could easily be making more money, but he's solid at 8.7 because he wants that competitive team around him. So I'd be good with like that $6, $7, $8 million range if they wanted to sign him like 5 years, that much, but I'm sure it'll be more and I'm sure it'll be longer. Wouldn't shock me.
100%. Now, speaking about the rough start, obviously you guys aren't doing too well.
No.
Do you think any big names will be moved at deadline this year?
It's tough to say.
If you guys continue to go in a bad direction.
Obviously, Pat Verbeek has shown that he is not at all afraid to move people, especially names that are very popular. I imagine if this team continues to absolutely tank and maybe still play playoffs are dead in the water, no chance. And I know his name always comes up, but this year specifically, I feel like John Gibson would be moved.
Really?
This would be. Last year, it was one of those things where you're like, okay, like, you don't want to ship out everybody. You want to give yourself somewhat of a fighting chance. But I think at this point in time, like, the expectation of this season was entirely like, hey, it's for the young guys to develop. It's for us to get better. And if at this point they're aiming for they're in the draft lottery, they're looking at that, Bedard first overall pick, which would honestly be perfect because he and McTavish are so close. I wouldn't hate that.
That would be a blessing.
Honestly, truly. And the Ducks have never had the first overall pick. So came close in the Sidney Crosby draft when we ended up with Bobby Ryan, but it's all right. But I do, and I'm a huge Gibby fan, and I do feel like it's one of those things where you would not get as much value as you would want out of him just because he's been on a bad team for so long. And, anyone that's watched him knows what he's capable of, but given the numbers and given the team that's in front of him, his numbers are absolutely awful. Yeah. So I think that'll definitely hurt the return there. So that's one thing that kind of, I guess, counteracts that where you're like, hey, is it even worth it to trade him if you're not even going to get what you think or you want out of that trade?
Yeah.
But I think Kevin Shattenkirk's on his last deal. Maybe ship him off to a competitor for, like, as a rental if you need a veteran third line defenseman. I don't really see any of the young guys, honestly. No, I think you got to hang on to them unless you see, an offer that you can't refuse. But the only thing I can probably think of is those. So as either a John Gibson or maybe no one's going to take that Adam Henrique contract. What am I saying?
You think
and they don't want to absorb any of that money. That's something where they're just going to have to ride it out.
kind of like the Kessler contract, but
that's well, I mean, he was injured, so I think
Yeah.
that one you could hide in LTIR.
Yeah.
Henrique you can't. So and I'm
No.
not going to wish injury on him, but yeah, it's one of those things where you try and like, what is it? Do you guys watch The Office ever?
Favorite show.
You know that what is it, the Yankee swap that they do at Christmas, and he's got the knitted oven mitt from Phyllis, and he's like holding it out. That's Adam Henrique.
I love
It's
it.
so frustrating because I loved watching him in New Jersey, and when he first came to Anaheim, I was so excited, but
Mhm.
it's a contract that just has not aged all that well. So I don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, first year GM, you still are learning what to expect and you kind of figuring out, because we had Bob Murray for 13 years. So you kind of knew, this is not the things he normally does. He doesn't go after big time free agents. He'll like go dumpster diving for players that are washed up and had like one great year like 4 years ago. And it's like, oh no, he can get a bounce back year back in Anaheim, and they never do. So we'll see. And hopefully the Ducks turn things around. I'm hoping, because I like entertaining competitive hockey. Like as long as you're going out there laying it all out on the ice and actually trying to win and put together a competitive game there, I'll be happy. Like that's one thing. Hey, there's games where you play really well and you lose, but if it's just constant incompetence and like just looking like you could lose to certain AHL teams, like it's just beyond frustrating as a fan. And I'm sure you guys have had your fair share of those games. So I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yes. No. So obviously retro reverse jerseys were, just in. What is your take on yours? And let's give your top 5 worst. If you don't mind.
Ooh, I like this. So I absolutely love the Ducks one. I think it's just chef's kiss perfect. I know people are very tied to the eggplant and jade colors of that specific jersey, and I totally understand that, but I think it works really well with the current Ducks color scheme. Just the diagonal lines on the bottom of the jersey, the sleeve. I love that number font that the Ducks had. It's a beautiful jersey and so well done. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So I'm biased, but that's a top 3, top 5 for me easily. Few other, it's fine. I think, and I'm thinking as far as worst, and I said this, I did a couple of videos giving my take on each, but which I'm still finishing. But I think the worst thing you can be in this entire campaign is be boring. Like I think teams that just totally didn't care, like just kind of threw the bare minimum out there. And I understand like the original 6 teams don't have as many options as far as third jerseys and other jerseys to work with. So they're, reverse retros are going to be a little different, but like for the most part, some of them were just absolutely just awful. I was like, y'all couldn't have had some fun with this.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. What jerseys were those?
I'd love to hear
my unpopular opinion, and this is in no order. My unpopular opinion was I think the Colorado Avalanche jersey.
Oh, with the C.
Boring.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
you could have done something so cool, and especially after last time when you had the Nordiques with the Avalanche colors. Like you had the best one last time, and you went from that to this. Like I would have loved to have seen like the old Foot logo. I would have loved to have seen some like fun work with that.
Yes.
Like something quirky. Like have fun with this. That's my thing. But like if you're an Avs fan that doesn't live in Colorado, why are you going to buy that? Why? Also, there's another. Also, the Devils did one with the Colorado colorway too. They did it with the Colorado Rockies hockey team, and like the Avs were like, "Oh no, ours is the Colorado state flag." It's like, why do we need 2 Colorado flag color jerseys? We don't. So, but yeah, it was plain. Like it's not even like a simple, like beautiful jersey. It was just boring. I was like,
it was fair.
Not a fan.
Detroit and
Chicago and Detroit. I was like, I want to know who hates both those teams. And like,
they're terrible.
Tell them that they're like literally the exact. And I want to credit to Detroit for actually doing something this time and not putting out a practice jersey. I give them props for that. I would have loved to have seen them keep the logo. I love the Red Wings logo, but they've done so many cool like Winter Classic jerseys. I was like, yo, you guys have done cool stuff in the past. Why? I was disappointed. But I'm gonna just because I thought it was weak. The Minnesota Wild having the same jersey but switching the colors. I'm like,
Yep.
you forgot to do the assignment. Somebody forgot something in there. Late
Last
to the
minute just
deadline.
admitted in.
It was just like you weren't even the Minnesota North Stars. Like, create some distance there. You used them as inspiration last time.
Did you like St. Louis's?
I did not. I didn't hate it, but I look at it and I just see like those Tweety Bird ice cream pops from like the ice cream truck. And somebody was even like, I see a Twisted Tea. I was like, yo, that's even better. Like too much yellow.
Okay. I'm looking at them now, so I was just gonna
too much yellow.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't like Nashville's either.
Nashville's, I hated that.
Nashville.
Yeah. I kind of
not a big fan.
They did the same colors. I'm like, yo, I said it in a video, but I was like, I almost wish they would work with that mustard yellow a little bit more.
Own it.
And like embrace it. I don't know. Like, don't run away from your poor choices. Like, bring them back in. Like, look at the Fishermen. Everybody was hating on that for years. And then the Islanders brought it back. And that's the other funny thing to see is you see the fans that lived through that era that absolutely hate that jersey. And the newer fans that are like, this is amazing. I'm trying to think what other really bad ones.
Columbus, I didn't.
Oh, Columbus was. That's the other one. Boring. Like, just doesn't work together.
Yeah.
You got like the royal blue and then the navy blue in there. I don't like their jerseys as it is, so I guess I'm a little biased there, but not a fan of that one.
What about Arizona's?
I liked last year's better for them.
I liked the Arizona's this year. I didn't think they were that bad.
They're not bad. I liked it kind of looks like a sunset. I think it's cool. The purple one last year was just money. I feel bad for putting these guys on the list because they are new, but the Kraken ones.
Yeah.
Not too much going on. I was like, I appreciate they took inspiration from like the Seattle Ironmen, or like a hockey team back in the 30s. But so they use like the stripes on that jersey with the Kraken logo. I'm like, it's just a lot going on like in the front of the jersey. Like, I appreciate the inspiration, but coming together as a concept, didn't like it. Gotcha. And then I don't like the Flyers jersey, but I love that they're using the Cooperalls in warmups. They're having the full pants.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit for that, but otherwise it's a really boring jersey.
Yeah. Speak of Arizona, I know Pete wanted to ask a question about the Ducks and the Coyotes beef. Do they have it?
Oh, there's beef. There's absolutely beef.
Please elaborate on that beef. It extends back to the last season and then into the preseason, correct?
You know the game it extends to, don't you? So it extends to the game. I believe it was March of last year. The Ducks and the Coyotes obviously dead in the water, no playoff spot. So I believe the Ducks were leading 4-0, 5-0. I could be wrong, but it was definitely a shutout. Zegras scored a lacrosse goal. It was an entire clinic going on there. So near the end of the third period, Zegras is kind of poking the goalie as he's covering the puck. And Jay Beagle, of all people in there, shoves Zegras, gives him a nice cross check in the back. And Troy Terry's like, oh, hell no. Gets in his face. And then Beagle just drags Troy Terry and starts hammering him into the ground, just laying haymakers into him. And obviously they get separated. Troy Terry's out for a game. He's got stitches, blood, everything. And after, of course, at the end of the game, Zegras comes out and he's just like, I thought that was just gutless. Like, you don't do that to somebody. Really speaking out about it. I was like, hey, I like that move. People are going to want to talk in a 5-0 game. Nobody's going to want to talk about the game. People are going to talk to you about your goal and about what was going on there. Yep. But then it kind of like escalated the situation too who I absolutely hate the Coyotes announcers, and Tyson Nash can hate him, was like, oh yeah, these skill guys, if you're gonna pull that shit, you better be prepared to get punched in the mouth. Like, not in this league, no. I fucking hate that mindset.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So much. It's those like good old hockey, and it's just
old school guys.
Good old game guys, as I call them.
Yeah.
And then Jay Beagle kind of gave an interview, and he was like, yeah, it's just, you're going to do that. You're up 4-0, like, just pulling that shit. I'm like, Jay Beagle, when was
Did he get a suspension for that? Or did he get a penalty?
Not.
Nothing. Oh, okay.
Damn.
It was
The last
crazy.
time, like, I think he was fined, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember.
Okay.
The last time Jay Beagle was relevant was literally Aaron Asham putting him to sleep. So, oh yeah, I was at that game too. I went to school.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
nice.
But-
We'll
but yeah,
creep
there is.
back.
Yes, there is beef, but I have mad respect. I respect the Coyotes fans and their situation that's going on
Their
right
struggle.
now. Kind of it's not an ideal situation, but the fans have really
Temporary.
put up with a lot from poor management, bankruptcy, bad everything, bad ownership, you name it, and a lot of them have stuck with it through thick and thin. So I respect them. I appreciate, and all that they've been through. But yeah, there's beef, which is fun. I love rivalries. I love those
It's
not
fun to
even
see.
like geographically conventional ones. I love that just, hey, we had a bad game, like something happened. There's unfinished business. I love that. So
Before
the
we
best.
creep back into talking about the Leafs, what are your thoughts on the Arizona Coyotes locker room right now?
my thing, it's only 4 games, and people are just absolutely losing their minds over it. I think that's especially on Twitter, like every little thing gets just absolutely blown out of proportion. And I've been in worse locker rooms in my day. NHL players have been in worse locker rooms. Like I've seen, especially some of the college rinks, you've seen some of these guys have to play in. Like they've been in pretty bad ones. So, and even Blake Wheeler said at the end, like, he's like, it really wasn't that bad. Like everyone was making it out to be such a bad, like awful, like, listen, there were curtains up. We had stalls, air conditioning, places to get dressed. We were fine. And each team there's 4 different teams. They each have to go through it one game. Not the end of the world. It's always funny to see, like, on social media, the absolute overreaction, like, that happens from people. You're just like, all right, like, you want to call them a poverty franchise. Is it the ideal situation? Obviously not. But construction gets delayed. Things happen all the time. Like, it is what it is.
Loves talking about it. That's why I had to ask.
What?
I said Pete loves talking about it, so that's why I had to ask.
You love talking about the locker room situation?
It's always a fun conversation talking about the Coyotes because there's always something they do to one up the situation, and it keeps getting more interesting. And I love watching the drama around it. So it's
a soap opera. It's absolutely a reality show. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're voting on this. The city votes on because they got approval to like move forward with it, but the actual vote to like break ground and start the arena process is the end of November. So that's November 29th. Circle it on your calendars when the day that gets decided.
Pete's gonna make another TikTok about it.
Can't wait to see it, Pete.
Honestly, hey, listen, I made a TikTok about the Coyotes, and let me tell you, that gets views and it gets engagement.
It literally does. Yeah, I've got a couple thousand views from talking about the Coyotes, but we can't dog on them too much because Austin Matthews would not be a Leaf today if the Arizona Coyotes weren't a franchise.
That is true. That is very true.
Arizona Coyotes.
I remind people of that too. I was like, you don't have Austin Matthews if not for the Arizona Coyotes, and he's so he's passionate about that fan base and where he's very proud of where he's from and how he got into hockey, and you got to respect that. So. It's a nice reminder for the Canadian, especially the Toronto fans that are like, Arizona is a poverty franchise. They're like, okay, all right, you better be thanking them.
We'll focus a little bit on the Leafs this coming week. I'll get everybody's predictions, even Annie's here. So we have the Flyers Wednesday. We've got the Bruins Saturday, and we have Carolina next Sunday. A shorter week, but Pete, I'll start with you. What do you think the record will be?
Okay, so start off Boston game. I'm going to that one. I've been to 2 preseasons and a regular season, all dubs, so it's going to be an easy dub on Friday or Saturday against the Bruins. Flyers, they're probably going to lose to. What's that?
Did you say you were going to the Bruins one?
Yeah, I'm going to the Bruins game on Saturday.
So fun.
So that'll be a good time. Wednesday against the Flyers, Torts is going to make the boys work. We always lose to the teams we're supposed to beat. That's gonna be 1-1, and then Carolina. That's on a back-to-back Sunday.
Yeah, Shalgren will probably be in net then.
Shalgren will probably. Knowing my luck, he's gonna be in net for the Bruins game. But you know what? I think they'll pull it off against Carolina. They'll go 2-1 this week.
Sounds good, Divvy.
Oh man, you know what? Based off of today, it's really going to depend based off that. I'm feeling 1-2-0. Honestly,
Like
the way
2-0?
it's looking, yeah, they're gonna get their win against Boston, and then they're gonna lose the other two. That's what I'm feeling.
Gotcha. Annie, what are your thoughts
Mm.
based on Leafs so far?
I watched the game yesterday. Let's
Oh.
it's
Terrible.
Brutal.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. But I think the Flyers are gonna fizzle out and sooner than
Ooh.
people think. That's my. I don't know if it's really a hot take because I think everyone
It
knows
could be.
they're
Definitely not a hot take.
overperforming right now.
Yeah.
The Torts. It's that Torts honeymoon phase. It always. And then
Very
it's like
true.
Bruce Boudreau. It kind of that honeymoon phase, and then it's like back to reality.
Yep.
And that's gonna it'll happen. It'll happen. And I wish the best for Carter Hart, but it's gonna happen.
Got a hat.
But I'm gonna say they get their win against the Flyers. It goes Flyers, Bruins, Carolina, or Bruins, Flyers, Carolina.
Yeah.
Flyers,
Bruins, Carolina.
Okay, cool. And the Bruins are at home.
I
They're in
think
Toronto.
In
No,
Toronto.
they're in
That's what I meant.
Toronto.
I meant.
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
Oof, at home against Boston. I think they get the win there.
Ooh.
And then it's in Carolina.
It might be.
Yeah, will definitely.
believe it
We never
is.
get
In
back to
Carolina.
back home
All right,
games.
they take the L there. So 2-1.
2-1. Perfect.
Sweet.
I'll take that Bruins game in overtime. Leafs get the win in overtime. Austin
Ooh.
Matthews, OT winner.
Let's
Nice.
go. I love it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go 2-1 this week. I think they're gonna try and put on the Jets again, and try and turn this freaking season around. Hopefully, we see the puck in the back of the net more for Matthews this week, and JT continues to stay hot. But yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly this week. JT stayed consistent, the good as well as Willie, as they are combined for 18 points in 9 games. Pete, do you think that this duo will ever get broken up?
JT and Willie, no, they're going to stay together. It's more of I'd like to see more Nick Robertson on that line. I don't know if he's throwing. I don't know what the lines are for tonight. I see the games on. I'm assuming Robbie's on. Robbie's on the second line. I don't know about.
I think so.
Stay away from Malgin. Yeah, but JT and Willie, they're crushing it right now. What about you, Div? What do you think?
They better stay together. I see a lot of people wanting to change the lines and separate them, and I don't know why they think that. They may think they might be able to bring together some of the other. They might be able to get some of the other guys going, but keep JT and Willie together. It's working. That's one of your only positives. Keep it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys will figure their things out when they can.
Absolutely. Annie, what do you think about their hot start, JT and Willie?
Honestly, I've been rooting for John Tavares since he left New York.
Wow.
Really?
Because I was living in New York when he left. So I got to see the outrage from Islanders fans up close and personal. I always thought it was unwarranted. Like, you can't fault the guy for being a free agent and signing where he wants to sign. That's sports. That's the way it is. And he wanted to go home. Like, you're going to call him a traitor for that? I just think about what's the fucking, what is it called? The Islanders commercial, the Dear John.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The absolute cringe fest for 2 minutes? Dear John, we don't need you. Okay.
Weren't they throwing stuff at him at the game that he went to?
Snakes, yeah.
Snakes. Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, he's just a good kid, good guy. He just wants to play
Shout out
hockey
to Pajama
for a
Boy.
living and play for his childhood team. Like, he didn't do anything wrong.
No, poor guy.
They got it. But I'm happy to see him get off to a good start and be successful. It's hard. How do you not? I mean, unless you hate Toronto, how do you root against a guy like John Tavares? So
absolutely.
I hope he keeps it up. Honestly,
Yeah.
I do. I think it'd be good for the game.
We think Willie's visor has everything to do with his success right now.
Really?
Yes. So he was getting migraines and he was like, I'm going to put a visor on. And it's been helping so far.
Hey, if it's working, keep using it. We'll
exactly. The bad, we talked about it earlier. The defense just needs to smarten up. I don't know who's gonna, be that whipping boy. Who's gonna smarten up? I don't know what's gonna go on, but it's something that some guys need to excel at and maybe not jump into the play as much. Pete, what do you think?
As we're talking about the defense, I'm just watching
God.
Justin Hall make an absolutely brutal play, but we drew a penalty. We drew a penalty. So Justin Hall, shout out to this guy right now. Yeah,
All right.
I'm just watching him. He drew a hooking penalty, so maybe they're smarting up right now. It's hard to get excited every time he touches the puck, but hell, he did something.
Finally, the ugly. There might need to be a big change. Does anybody here think that there's going to be a big change yet? Divvy?
Don't think it'll happen right now. I'd say I see change. If it continues like this, I see it going on another, 3 weeks.
Yep.
Something will happen. And again, I don't want it to be Keefe or anybody in coaching. This is not on Keefe or any of those guys. This is on the players. Players got to smarten up. Players got to change it up. Maybe a big trade. Who knows?
Yep.
I'll give it 3 weeks if it continues.
Yep.
I mean, if they're gonna make a big change, it's got to be Keefe. Like, who are we gonna trade? We're gonna trade Justin Hall, like, and get what? Like, what are we doing here? We just got to play it out, wait it out. They had the same start last season, so we just got to be patient and just stop getting so obnoxious here. Come on.
Yep. Annie, what are your thoughts? You think there's going to be a big change here?
You know, it's interesting because I know I talked about it at the beginning of the show, but at what point do you say like it's early in the season? They just gotta, work through this. You work through, the summer rust and kind of get into a groove and find your way as a team. Or at which point you're like, okay, I've seen enough. Like, I don't like what I'm seeing. Let's make some changes here. And personally, I know you said not to change coaching, but the saying goes, it's easier to change out one guy than it is to make a trade and ship out even more pieces. So I think if that's the move they make, I think that's the kind of the go-to, honestly, especially since he's been under fire a lot. But I think if it continues on into the week, I follow a lot of Toronto media. I feel like, it's like a 3-game losing streak. And the question rises, like, is it time?
Yeah.
Is he in the hot seat? I feel like if they lose tonight, it should absolutely be a discussion. It's absolutely warranted. And if it continues into the week, why not? I give him 2 weeks tops before if this continues.
Fair enough. No. Before we go, James wanted me to touch on a couple of news around the NHL. There was a big news story that came out about Merzlikins' wife. She had posted to Instagram basically the rant saying, how the fans are saying that her husband should die when the team's doing bad. They're trash. He has mental issues, this and that. But then they turn around in person and they're saying, oh my God, I love you. Can we get a picture? Touching their son and everything. And she's just had enough. She's finally taken the point where, she's going to stay away from games with her son. I think he's less than a year old. I'm just kind of torn with what had happened last year with the goalie that had passed away in Columbus. I think this is a very touchy subject considering, fan bases need to, fan bases need to calm down and stop jumping to conclusions and blaming people immediately after, one loss. The season is 82 games for heaven's sake. And, you don't need to make it a roller coaster when it's really not. Pete, what are your quick thoughts on this?
When you think of toxic fan bases, you don't really think of Columbus, but I guess there's always a few bad nuts in like a big
every fan base.
Yeah, like you're always gonna get a few shitty people, and it sucks. Like you said, with the goalie that passed away last season, I forget his name, but he jumped in front of the firework to save his life, right? His family's life. So he's not okay mentally. Like for people to attack him is absolutely disgusting. So I feel bad for Elvis, but all the best to him and his family.
Yeah. Divvy?
Yeah, there's a fine line between chirping and then there's just being absolutely rude. And, Elvis, he doesn't deserve this. I don't believe this is the first time also that he's gotten hate like this. I believe Merzlikins, he's one of the guys that he just feel bad for him. I'm always hearing how he's getting it from fans and just give the guy a break, with everything that's gone on with the franchise and,
Yep.
Just give the poor guy a break. You got no idea what he's going through,
Exactly. Yeah. No, Annie.
Did
you see this or no?
I did. I saw the screenshot on Twitter. I didn't read through it. It's one of those things where you're just like, your heart just like breaks reading it. Because at some point, if you're can't even open your social media without getting harassing messages from people. Like you got to think like, and people always say like, oh, ignore it. You got thick skin, you got to, brush it off. But at some point, like if somebody's touching her kid, like, first of all, you don't touch anybody's kid. That's not yours. I don't care who you are. Like, that's inappropriate. That's not even inappropriate. Like, you don't do that. Like, keep your hands to yourself. That's something you learn in preschool. But the fact that, and it's one thing, like, we see, like, the funny, like, DMs, like, to players about fantasy, like, and that stuff's all good fun. But when you're talking about, life and death, if you're talking about, players' families and things like that, come on, this is a game. This is a game. At the end of the day, they play a game for a living. And you get to go home, to your bed. Like, their life does not affect your life in any way. Like, why? There's no excuse for taking the time out of your day to message a player or their family in a rude way like that, or not even a rude way, an absolutely illegal way at that, like threatening their lives, their livelihood. It just, especially goalies, like they get it so bad for the moment. Goalies we've seen goalies get absolutely run out of teams, run out of cities. And, some fan bases are just, and like you said, there's bad nuts in every fan base, but
absolutely.
I don't blame the players and the families that choose to like have private social media accounts or choose to just not be on it at all. Like, just absolutely eliminate that from your life there. And, like I said, it is only a game, and fans have to, remember that, hey, like, you don't matter to them. Like, your livelihood and their livelihood are not dependent. Professional athletes don't owe you anything. Like,
no.
They don't owe you anything. And you don't know, like you said, you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know what somebody's carrying. Elvis has got to be, the amount of trauma that family has got to be dealing with after last summer. Like, I cannot even imagine. So it's, especially now, like, be kind, like, treat others the way you want to be treated, as cliche as that is. Like, it's really not that hard to mind your own business and be a good person.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. 100%.
People think professional athletes and like public figures are like exempt from that. It's like, why?
You chose the spotlight.
Exactly. This is part of the deal. No, it's not.
No, it's not. You don't deserve to be treated
better,
like
people.
Shit in this freaking world. A little bit more positive news.
We love that. We love positivity.
Bruce Boudreau got a 600th win. And it was the Canucks' first win on the season. But I don't know. I think the local strip club kind of, got them going. They're like, you guys drink free on us if you guys get one win out of this. Who knows? Maybe the boys put it on for that, or maybe they're like, okay, Bruce, you deserve your 600th beat. You got any comments on this one?
When you look at their team on paper, they don't look that bad. They don't look that bad. They're off to a slow start. And I remember when the Leafs went 0-7 to start the season, they were that bad. But
That's pretty bad.
Being that, like, they have great. I know Thatcher Demko. He's great. I think he's fantastic. Yeah. Shout out to Brucey. That must have been the longest wait to get to 600 wins. Like, his job may be on the line. I don't think that's a great idea if you want to fire him. But I shout out to Brucey.
Yeah.
He had a bottle of scotch just chilling in his refrigerator on ice, or in his freezer on ice, waiting to pop it. He's like, it'll come. Like, a few games
eventually.
And it just kept going.
And then the rumors come out that he might get fired, and he's like, okay, you can't fire me before this big one. Come on.
Nah, that'd be.
No.
That wouldn't be cool.
No, it wouldn't. Divvy, you got any comments on this one?
Oh man, I love Brucey, man. He finally got it, man. Turning point for the Canucks, man. Like Pete was saying, they don't have a bad team, you know. They have like a
Nope.
great group of forwards. It's just I know their defense, their blue line has been killing them with all the injuries, but you know, they went out and got Ethan Bear. They did do a few trades, so hey, you know, they got the win. Turning point for the Canucks. I full on think it is. I think Demko's gonna come back into form the way he was in the bubble.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Now we do this on the show every Sunday. It is called our Bearded Blue Warrior. Now, Annie, you do not have to name a Leaf. You can name your Duck Star of the Week if you want. I'll give you exemption for this.
Okay.
But Pete, as always, this is brought to you by Boxing Rock Brewing Co.'s company's Puck Off Lauderdale. Bearded Blue Warrior, Pete, give me yours.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be an NHL player. You picked The Rock a couple of weeks ago. So
Yep.
my Bearded Blue Warrior is going to David Camp because right now he has the most 5-on-5 points as a Leaf right now. So shout out David Camp.
Yes, Camper.
That hurts to hear. Just 5-on-5. Divvy, what about you?
Gonna have to go with Johnny T.
Johnny T.
Gonna have to go with
Yeah.
Johnny T.
Good
He's
pick.
he's,
Good
he's
pick.
still going hot, you know. A lot of people were wondering how he's gonna start the season, and hey, he's the one of the main shining bright spots of this team right now. He's looking good. Hopefully he can continue to stay good.
Absolutely.
Johnny T is my pick.
Annie, who is your Bearded Blue Warrior?
I'm gonna go. I'll stick with Troy Terry. Plus, I feel like he could really benefit from that blue beard because I don't think the man can grow facial hair. So, a pity vote for me. But no, I love the way, as hard as it's been and how difficult this last 7-game stretch has been. You could tell he's really trying to put this team on his back and get some points on the board. Has not always been possible. Has not always been easy. But I gotta commend him for that. So he'll get my vote this week.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with Sheldon Keefe. He's taking a lot of heat this week and a little bit of last week. He's calling out his boys. He's hoping that they can save him the job. See what he can do in this next coming week. But for that, I think we are done for today's episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. As always, have a marvelous night and go Leafs, go.